Today, my topic, as uh, um, the child has just introduced, will be on the aesthetics of Aaranya, with special emphasis on the visual narratives as well as textual narratives. Now, I try to
Hello, Mallika ma'am. Mallika ma'am.
am I
Yes, now
audible?
it's okay. Now you're audible, ma'am. Now you're audible.
Okay, okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. I was just trying to introduce my topic here. It is titled Aesthetics of Aaranya, with special emphasis on the folklore of India. I specifically want to bifurcate between the two kinds of Aranya. Aranya actually refers to forest. And so, how does Aranya appear in visual narratives and textual narratives? Now, we have all of us, been familiar with terms like art for art's sake and art for life's sake. So here, I take this very distinct bifurcation of art for life's sake and for art's sake, and try to, inspire you to think outside the box, to understand the contemplative, manipulative meanings hidden within
Mallika
each
ma'am.
narrative.
Ma'am,
Yes,
ma'am, can
yes.
you just rotate your screen?
Is this okay now?
Yeah, ma'am. Perfectly. Perfectly. It's okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
So
Thank
this,
you.
yeah, you're most welcome. So this is what I intend to do. I want you to think on the box. I want you to understand that there are certain manipulative elements that come into focus when aranya or forests become technique in narratology. It can be used as a weapon too. See, so let me take you to Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book. Okay, we all love listening to stories. Now, let me just tell you the first line, how Rudyard Kipling begins his fiction. I quote, long, long, long ago. See, we are thrown into a different line, a totally different time and space, which we have only heard of. And what does he do? Long, long, long ago, in the deep, dark forests of far away India, you're taken away, into the depths of those forests, to the Aranya there. There lived a man cub. There lived a man cub named Mowgli. Beautiful, isn't it? Stories are born in the, what shall I say, in the depths of those dark, mysterious forests. Now, a new reading of Rudyard Kipling's novel would show us that there are elements within this which speaks about post-colonialism, perhaps, or the relationship between the colonized and the colonizer. In a sense, in a sense, those stories that we've been hearing through eons of time, my dear friends, are not very innocent. They have a deeper meaning there. They have a connotative impact, if read between the lines. I would want you to understand that the forests, anywhere for that matter, it could be, Robin Hood, in Sherwood Forest, or Mowgli in the Indian wilderness, that speaks to us of certain attributes and attitudes of colonial power. Let me take you through a few clippings, okay, of the movie Mowgli or the Jungle Book. Before that, I would, want to tell you that this would be the first session of my speech or talk, and then we will move on to art for life's sake. What actually does Aranya do? How does it manipulate lives that hang on to it? What does art indicate there? Or is it only for art's sake? How is a life made out of Aranya? That would be the second segment of my speech. So before I move further into more discussions, I would want you to watch or I would want you to call back into your memory the scenes of Mowgli, the movie that was released in 2018, 19, perhaps very new. The boy, Neil Sethi, who played the role of Mowgli there. And then I am trying to pick out instances from that movie to show you how Rudyard Kipling actually envisions the deep dark forests of India. Actually, it's very interesting, you know. The characters there become the characters of, a much bigger canvas. It is not simply an innocent story that we've been listening to right from our childhood days. Okay, let me try sharing the screen. We'll have to go to YouTube and do that. I'll just attempt doing that. If it doesn't happen, I shall deliberate upon it here. Okay. What happened? Screen എവിടെയാ തൊട screen എവിടെയാ തൊട അപ്പം is it visible? Is the screen visible? Am I presenting for you?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. The screen is visible, but if you could
Okay.
make it a full screen, I think it would be more
Okay,
clear.
okay, okay. Yeah, now?
Yes, ma'am. Now it's okay, ma'am. Now it's okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. So I would request you all to go through the character of Mowgli here.
Hi. Scared? I'm not gonna hurt you. Are you lonely? Would that be alright? I'll keep you safe.
All right, dear friends. Am I audible now? Rosina? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, yes, ma'am. You're audible.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
before we continue with the, presentation, I would want all the participants to think about colonialism, Ka being the colonizer and Mowgli as the colonized. He is the Indian, the chaddi clad, muddy Indian, the wild boy, Think of him as India, and Ka is the enticing, helpful colonizer. Okay, they are not here to, do harm to the poor boy. Okay, again I take back, take you back to the annals of colonial theories there. And the car says, I'm here to protect you. We know how well she's going to protect the boy, don't we? Okay, how beautifully and sweetly she entices the boy. She almost hypnotizes him and then whirls around him, almost, pushing the breath, the last breath, the puff of air out of his body. Okay, so there again.
Sweetheart. Ka. I know where you came from. Yes. Would you like to see? They travel, and when they do, their caves free and dark. They call it the red flower. Moon's creation brings warmth and light and destruction to all that it touches. Didn't notice the color, and that pearl was you.
Okay, friends. So let me just move back to where I left you with the discussions of the colonizer, enticing the colonized, the poor mud-clad boy. Okay. Can you all see me now? Razina? Things fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
this
Yes,
is
ma'am.
again
Fine.
happening in the deep dark jungles of India, the Aaranya. And what is actually the message that is being given out there? Rudyard Kipling was never for Indian freedom struggle, he was never for independence for the Indian citizens, would always say this is what literally defined the Indian community, the populace there. They did not deserve freedom. They couldn't think, they couldn't work, they couldn't rule their own country. Okay, we were still the mysterious land lost in muds and Maharajas and the Nagas. Okay, the snakes and the snake charmers, the land of the snake charmers. So now again, this is one side of Aranya, how Aranya has always been there on the backdrop, being the narratological weapon used through visual narratives and textual narratives to convey a certain meaning. I again take you back to the same movie where the song, just the bare necessities of life, yeah, we all loved the song, but how many of us really understood the manipulative meaning behind it, the connotative ideas that the writer had in his mind while he did that? Okay, just the bare necessities of life, that is all what you deserve. You really don't deserve anything much. Okay, you will definitely always be decolonized while we shall, be the colonizer. Actually, colonialism is something more psychological than political. I mean, they teach you their language, and then you are in fact pushed to think in their language. When you imbibe a language, you unwittingly imbibe the culture behind that language. So they might have gone back to their country, but they have left us with this psychological colonialism. Again, I would also like to present the song, just the bare necessities of life, once again.
For the bare necessities of simple bare necessity. Forget about your worries and strife. I mean, bare necessities. So Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life.
My dear friends, there you have it. So there is this marginalization and oppression which does not, which does not make us sophisticated. Okay, you are here with their language stuck up, with no language of yours. You need to imbibe that language to understand a culture and transform, sophisticate yourself to what they understand of life. Okay, so this repudiation of this indigenous tradition, our forest, our culture, it is always, it is always actually annihilated. And what we are encouraged to do is to shamelessly follow the conceptual, thought process of colonial aesthetics. We forget ourselves, we forget our culture, we forget our root, so much so that we have no idea where we are from, where actually we belong to. I have this concept of Ashwatham. Now, what actually is Ashwatham? Ashwatham is a term taken from the Upanishads which say that a tree actually grows through its roots. You know, the farther the roots reach down to the center of the earth, the greater, the higher will the tree grow, over the surface of the earth. So this concept of Ashwatham is what aesthetic theoreticians and actually Aaranya wants us to think about. And of course, let us stop following shamelessly the consumption of our colonial aesthetics, which devitalized our art studies and curricula by hegemonizing a hollow westward gaze. Whatever they said is right, and what we have within ourselves is always wrong. Is the notion that aesthetics, I mean, Aranya aesthetics wants us to think of. Okay.
Excuse me, Mallika ma'am.
Yes.
Could you please switch on your video, ma'am? We can't see you.
All right, all right. I thought I'll just finish with the song where a bit more
Okay,
of
ma'am.
explanation is there and I'll come back to the screen, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Will that be
Okay,
fine?
ma'am. Sure. Yeah, ma'am. It's okay, ma'am.
All
Fine,
right,
ma'am.
look,
Fine.
thank you.
Up popping holes, just bees a buzzing in a tree to make some honey just for me. When you have a little oxygen gland, take a glance at them fancy ants and then maybe try a few.
Am I visible now, Razina? I hope I'm visible to
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right,
Yes,
all
ma'am.
right. That was the
Yes.
first part of my presentation where Aranya actually pushes us to think about the manipulative power of the forest as a narrative medium in textual and visual narratives. Now, the second part of my presentation would take you to the dictum art for life's sake. Now here, I take you through a journey of the native art of India. We will have art forms from different parts of India showcased. Now, this is not simply sophistication for art's sake. I mean, you create something only to exhibit it. We are not exhibiting anything here. Actually, it means sustenance. Sustenance through art is what the marginalized, the tribal populace of the country intended doing through their art. So I am taking you again through a roller coaster ride of the different art narratives or art techniques that were employed by the different states of the country. Okay, let me see another screen presentation coming up now. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. It's clear. It's clear, ma'am.
Okay, okay, all right. Let's start from the wood carvings of Kerala. We have 44
Ma'am,
rivers. Yes.
can you make it a full screen? Full screen, ma'am.
One second, one second. Screen.
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, Mallika, ma'am. Hello.
Dear participants, I think our resource person might be having some technical issues. We shall wait for some minutes.
Rosina? Hello? I don't think a connection. Yeah, yeah, I'm on. Hello, anybody?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you, ma'am.
Yeah, but somebody else is presenting the screen.
Ma'am, that's okay, ma'am. We'll pin you. You can start presenting, ma'am, then we'll pin your screen.
All right, okay.
Ma'am, you can start presenting, ma'am.
Yeah. Stop presenting. Now, can you see it? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, it's okay,
All
ma'am.
right.
Yeah, ma'am, we can see the
Yeah,
screen.
yeah. I don't think I can rotate it. Okay, it has already taken the
No,
thing.
ma'am.
Okay, all right.
Ma'am, this is fine.
Okay,
This is
okay,
fine,
thank you,
ma'am.
thank you. So now I start with the wood carvings, yeah, wood carvings from Kerala, which is so rich and vibrant and diverse in its art practices. Okay, so you can see the nuances of art in its various forms. We have now the bamboo craft from northeast and the Santal painting. Okay, the Chhattisgarh paintings there. You know what? The tribes that practice these art forms, they are always outside the established art history, though they have always been sidelined and marginalized and oppressed. And there is no cause for them to be undertaking these artworks, because when there are no buyers, there again you see art is not for art's sake alone here. It is for life's sake. They have nobody to push them forward. Okay, subsistence out of the art is almost impossible now. The terracotta from Rajasthan again. Okay, it takes months and years for these artisans, the craftsmen, working on these to produce something as beautiful with its nuanced perfections. And ultimately, what happens is they are not given enough support by either the government or the public of the nation. See, we have this tendency once to, actually dissect the artisan from his art. Once the artwork reaches the stalls, the artisan is forgotten. The hours and hours of work that they put into it is almost annihilated. I mean, it's nowhere said or appreciated. Now again, you have the Rajasthani embroidery makers there, the Manipuri weavers, okay, the puppet art of Rajasthan, which is very popular, which used to be very popular. Puppetry now is a dying art form again. The Gond and the Mahua musicians, okay, you have the Baul players in Bengal, and they are from the Gond, and the Mahuas are from Bihar. The Rajawar artisan from Chhattisgarh again. The Dhokra metalwork, Chhattisgarh. The Varli paintings from Maharashtra. Patachitra paintings from West Bengal. The leather puppet shows, okay, Kerala again. It is here in Vaniyankulam. I mean, it is a place very near to Shornu on the way to Palakkad. And so, this is again a dying art form. How many of us would go watch a puppetry show? You know, it is a shadow puppetry here. The craft is actually painted on leather. You have the Madhubani paintings. We are all aware of Madhubani on dress materials now, on pottery. But how many of us would really understand the work that goes into the intricate details of that painting? It takes more than 3 months for an artisan to produce something as beautiful as that sheath of painting, the canvas of artwork that you see in front of you. But then it is forgotten. It is no longer applicable to the artisans that he produces work as art. It is actually manipulated into some other form, sometimes on pottery, sometimes on paper, where it is
Um,
diluted.
Mallika
pure.
ma'am, I'm really sorry for the interruption, ma'am, but it
Yeah.
seems the slides are not visible, ma'am.
Oh
Can you
my
just
God. I'll
can
go
you just
back to the presentation and talk about it rather.
okay, ma'am, okay.
All right. Slides are not visible, so maybe I'll just talk about them. I hope none of them could see those slides. I'm very sorry because those were very beautiful craftsmen's, work from some of them from their work shops across India. So this is what I want to say. The art is marginalized because the artisan is forgotten. Somewhere we dissect the artisan from the art. Okay, we can view a Madhubani painting in an exhibition. We are very comfortable doing that, but you have to dissect the artisan, because if you had to be in the work area where he works and you understand that he does it for his survival, it is a sustenance, he has to get the next ration from the money that he can make from the painting, okay, then you actually do not want to feel that comfortable knowing those paintings. So what happens in the Aaranya here is that art is no longer for art's sake alone. Sitting in a movie theater, viewing the post-colonial praxis of something that is happening through Rudyard Kipling's visual narrative is fine. It's very comfortable. But once we are pushed away from the comfort zones that we, the ivory tower existence that we occupy, it is not very easy accepting another's art and the hard realities of his life as our own. Okay, so this is what I wanted to convey through, my speech. Then again, you have the different art forms there. I had the Shoari, the Patachitra, the Kalankari, you name it, you name it. We see saris, we see dress materials, we see paintings, we see pottery being made of them. But that is not the purest form of art that actually existed. I mean, most of them were made or created as part of, fertility rituals, maybe for a wedding, at a birth, okay, during a death ceremony. So these were all connected intricately to the social fabric of these tribal artisans, and it represented the life that they lived, in close association with the art forms. They took their raw material from the materials that lay around them, especially from the Aaranya, again the forest. So Aaranya literature actually must imply that there is something more to it than mere indictments of showcasing somebody's art. So I want you to think beyond the box of comfort, beyond the said effortless, dignified, couch potato thought that we always link to art, and understand it as something either manipulative, like we had art through Rudyard Kipling's Mowgli, or again as a means of sustenance through the tribal art forms that I was trying to focus on here. Okay, so art history does not acknowledge these native traditions. You have art history happening in and around you, but how many of us would acknowledge that there are things there that really need our attention, that really must get the attention, the focus of the common public, those we call as the main line, or the modus operandum of the theories. We can sit and talk about them, but then you can comfortably forget about where they are actually happening. So I want you to think about these two realities that does not actually affect us, but yes, can be thought of and can be pruned upon to reach a particular solution, where the aesthetics of Aranya is alive, is kept alive. Okay, so there are two mediums of narratological techniques used here. One, the thought. Secondly, the life. Somewhere there has to be an intricate connection between the two to make the aesthetics of Aranya, especially in folklore, more alive and happening.